Hi, everybody. My name's Margaret Ritsch, and I'm from Washington State University, and I'm here to talk to you today about media kits, what goes into a media kit, how to put one together. This is meant to be a very nuts and bolts how-to presentation coming out of years of experience in the field doing this work and now teaching students, undergraduate students, how to do it. So let's start with the very basics of a media kit, the press release. This is sort of the fundamental first step in putting together a package that you would want to deliver to the news media. It's a fundamental tool in what we call earned media. Essentially, you're announcing news and you're releasing it to the news media, and it needs to be newsworthy and really communicate relevant information, not fluff. Really, the goal of a press release and a media kit is that you want to pique the interest of the news media, of a journalist, provide factual, newsworthy information that the news media outlet might be well interested in running as a news story. So it's called earned media because you have to work to get that news media coverage. You are trying to earn it. So ideally, before you even begin putting together a press release, your organization already has a spot on its website for a digital newsroom. It can be called News or Newsroom. This is really where your press releases are going to be archived, your multimedia assets, photos, videos, bios of the leadership, etc. Your press release and materials, though, are also pushed out to the news media, either by email directly to the list that you create or through what we would call a wire service, such as PR Newswire, Business Wire. So fundamentally, a press release needs to contain newsworthy information. They're really overused in the public relations industry, and I think that's probably because a lot of people in our field don't really have news judgment to know if something happening in your organization or client is significant enough to merit getting it out to the news media. So you really do need to think about that, and we're going to talk about that next, and be really knowing that you're announcing news that's going to be relevant to the readers and viewers of that particular news media outlet. So let's talk about how to determine if your news is newsworthy. So we call this, in the academic world, these are actually called news values, kind of the characteristics of your news that enhance the likelihood that the news media is going to be interested and really run with your story. And the first and easiest one is timely. Is the news about to happen? Did it just happen? If your news isn't really timely, it really does not provide that sense of urgency that sometimes you might need for the news media to be interested. Then another really important news value is impact. So is your news that you're sending out in your press release likely to have a good impact, a strong impact on the viewers and readers of that news media outlet, impact in a local community, in an industry? That's really a fundamental question that a journalist is going to ask him or herself when looking at your press materials. Magnitude. Is it literally a big deal in terms of numbers, figures, money, numbers of lives affected? A few other news values. Does your press release deal with a story that is going to have some sort of emotional pull? Will it be sort of a compelling kind of story that tugs at the heartstrings of the viewers and readers? And a feature kind of news story ideally does this and really inspires and moves the journalist that's actually reading your press release. So here's a kind of a tough news value, but it really is, it has to do with conflict. Does your news deal with how perhaps a company or an individual has kind of overcome an obstacle to arrive at a certain place? Is your company's product or service, correcting or fulfilling a real need in the market and is likely to have a good impact? So it's a bit more of a subtle thing, but important to kind of keep in mind if your news kind of addresses the resolution of some kind of conflict. It kind of brings a little bit more tension and drama into the story, and people really like that, and the news media likes that. Does your story contain proximity? Is it really local? Is it happening down the street? Is it happening close to that news media outlet's location? Your press release can actually sort of localize what we would call a national news story. So there may be something going on in the news nationally, and you, as the PR person, can find a way to kind of tie into that for your client if your client is local and has a product or service or event or issue that relates to that national story. We'll talk about some examples later. So let's talk about media kits, stepping beyond the press release. Essentially, a media kit is your press release plus extras. So other materials that news media might be able to really use if they're covering your story. So, you might put together a facts, frequently asked questions document. Certainly you want to provide photos, maybe some video clips. You may put together an infographic. You may be including executive bios, a company history, product one sheets, really essentially anything that the news media would find interesting and valuable, anything that's well enough produced that it will add value to your story. Here is a common type of backgrounder that's really, really helpful for an organization that is really attempting to gain credibility and build reputation. So this is a concise, accurate document that has verifiable facts related to the topic of your press release. So it's really meant to be a snapshot, easy read about a company, an organization, a product, a service, an issue, an event, a cause. The topic really needs to be narrow and specific and not vague, because you really are going to try to fit this all on one sheet. These can be written in a bulleted format at a glance, or in a more narrative approach with headers and subheads. So 1 to 2 pages double spaced. A fact sheet should be really solid and have the ability to kind of stand alone as a document that could be distributed to the news media with or without a press release. Typically, it's provided in a media kit along with a press release, but it should be really a self-contained item. And certainly, the facts on a fact sheet, again, as with really all of your other materials in a press release, is valuable. It contains valuable information about your organization, issue, cause, event that you can use on social media, on your website, in speeches, in an annual report. So as you put together a fact sheet, just kind of keep that in mind, that you're going to find multiple purposes for these facts and for really all the other materials that you're putting together in your media kit. So your headline on a fact sheet shouldn't say fact sheet. It really should be a headline that really pertains to the focus of the document, the topic for your fact sheet. So again, fact sheets are just loaded with really precise, detailed information. Again, used to establish sort of credibility for your organization. Fact sheets answer in great detail the who, what, where, when, how, and why, the 5 W's and H, with precision. And so a fact sheet might include the precise dates, locations, numbers and other data, dollar amounts, addresses, say the full names and titles for the executives in your nonprofit, etc. Fact sheets really do need to anticipate the audience needs, interests, and concerns. Let me give you an example of that. Say community members in the geographical area near a plant that's had a chemical spill are concerned and skeptical about the company's cleanup efforts. And so you might put together a fact sheet that outlines the money being spent on the cleanup, the labor involved, the time frame, the inspections that will be happening, your plan for follow-up, the precise, methods and equipment that you're using in that cleanup. So, the person putting together that fact sheet anticipates that perhaps employees and community members, even policymakers, local elected officials are skeptical and concerned. And so the fact sheet attempts to address that. Fact sheets, as with all of your press materials, are written in a third-person objective tone. Background or ideas. So some other ideas for what might work in a media kit. You really have to use your news judgment and your creativity for this. It really kind of depends on what you're announcing. So if your news, for example, is about a company coming to town, consider writing a company history. If you're announcing a product, a new tech product, for example, you might develop a one sheet that details sort of the technical features. If your nonprofit or company has a new CEO, certainly you would want to provide a detailed bio of this individual along with a headshot. This would be a good opportunity to provide a fact sheet about the company. Other ideas. So if your press release, your announcement is complex and contains a lot of numbers, a lot of data, you might consider putting together a really attractive infographic. Just know that it needs to be really solid and really visually compelling, strong enough to run on a news site. Another idea, fun and playful ideas. So if you're announcing a new food product, provide recipes and delicious looking, visuals. You can consider sort of top 10 lists, how-to guides, program descriptions. Again, the sky's the limit. Use your creativity. You're putting together a media kit containing any assets that the news organization might be able to use if they're running your story. So here's some nitty-gritty about a press release format. Going back to press releases. So typically, this is sort of the easy way to do it, and it's still fairly a common approach. You're basically developing a document in Word using Microsoft Word, and then eventually you will copy it and paste it into the body of an email and send it out to an email list. So a press release, you'll see, has the details for the media contact, the person who the news media can actually telephone or email if they have questions. And so you provide your telephone name and email address, and you can put this either on the bottom or the top of a press release. It will include for immediate release those words. They just basically indicate that the news media outlet can run with your story at that moment if they chose to. A press release will have a date line. Those words that are right in front of the first sentence, that's the location from which you're sending the news release, and that's the date and the city. Of course, you need to have a compelling headline, typically in bold, so that it really stands out, and you can use either sentence case or all caps. An important feature of a headline is that you use an active verb and make it dynamic and give the reader a reason to keep reading. It needs to be really that compelling. A subhead is optional. In a subhead, you don't repeat the same information as the headline, of course, but perhaps you provide a little bit more detail or provide a bit of a different context. That needs to be in a smaller font. The lead, the introduction, that first paragraph, really you may have one chance. Well, past the headline, this is your opportunity to really pique the journalist's interest and give them a reason to keep reading. It needs to be that well written, in active voice, very strong. Provide the news hook, the reason this is newsworthy. And then again, make this compelling enough and exciting and interesting enough that the news media will continue reading. And so inside the body of a press release too, you will want to include quotes. You'll want to provide the essential information about your story. And the body of the press release might be 2, 3, 4 paragraphs. Really, the length of the press release ideally is maybe about 1.5 pages, certainly no longer than 2 pages. This example right here does not show a boilerplate, but a boilerplate is a block of text that goes at the very bottom of the press release that is sort of it says about your company, with your company name, or about the event. And it is sort of the description of the event or of the company or your organization that's sort of boilerplate, that's standard. So if it's about a company, it would be the official company description that you would find on the company's website or in other materials. So, oftentimes you're not having to write that yourself. You're pulling that off of somewhere else. So that's your boilerplate about description at the very bottom. And then at the very bottom of the news release, below the boilerplate, you simply type 3 hashtags and center them at the bottom of the release. It's kind of a strange convention, but it basically just indicates that it's done. You're finished with that document. So, that's a wrap. This is kind of a very fast overview. I've provided a list of just a few resources. There are so many, but take a look at these. PR Newswire and PR Business Wire are great places to go actually for ideas and approaches to writing press releases. And those services also can distribute your press release. If you're actually writing one for a company or an organization, you pay a fee and they will distribute it to newsrooms around the country that subscribe to their wire service. There are just a ton of tools for building press releases in digital newsrooms. I really like Pitch Engine. That's a great one. There are well over a dozen news media influencer databases that you could subscribe to where you can find media contacts to pitch. And those platforms most of them really provide kind of a monitoring tool as well so that you can watch for news coverage about your organization, mentions and so forth. There are quite a few websites that actually have public relations templates, although you're not going to need one because I taught you how to write a press release today. But HubSpot and Prowly are a couple of great resources for also sort of how-to information. So if you have any questions at all, I encourage you to reach out anytime. I'm going to move my head shot here so that you can see my contact information at Washington State University. I hope you found this helpful. I've certainly enjoyed talking to you, and good luck.